the so-called mystical Kabbalah. There's no doubt about that in my mind.
Now, there's the Masonic influence. You know, that's the Kabbalah comes from the Jewish occult literature, and so the Jews and the Masons, they're basically working for the same goal. Their great work, isn't that one world government? Isn't that what the protocols were all about? That's why you're not supposed to read the protocols, because it outlined in detail what's been done.
Well, you got to go back to the biblical Esau versus Jacob story. You know, and if to fill in the blanks of the Genesis account, you really need to read the book of Jubilees and the book of Jasher. These are two books that are not in the current Christian, typical Christian Bible. And some people think, well, it's not in the Bible, it's not valid. Well, no, you got to understand that the book of Jubilees and the book of Jasher, or just like the historian Josephus, are very, very significant in their factual analysis. You see the book of Jasher and the book of Jubilee explain this, that the full blessing from Father Isaac, which came from Abraham, is one that it's all or nothing for the tribe of Esau, the tribe of these Edomites. It's all or nothing. You see, Esau, as he gathered together his sons from his 6 polygamous wives, he created a huge warlike, warmongering tribe of people, and it became. He issued a vow in the book of Jubilees, and also in the book of Jasher. It records that his vow was to completely annihilate the 12 tribes of Israel from the earth. So it's a war of genocide. It's a war of complete annihilation. So when you talk about the New World Order, that is really their crowning glory, to eliminate all of the opposing bloodlines. We're talking about, almost 7 billion people on the planet. The vast majority are either of the tribes of the 10 tribes, the 12 tribes actually, and the Asiatic people are all part of that. So we're talking about genocide to the tune of 6.5 billion people. Clay.
They've written that in stone, in the Georgia Guidestones. They spent a lot of money to erect that exact thing. They want to reduce it to a manageable 500 million, and that'd be 499 million slaves and about 1 million elitists. Would that be accurate?
No, I think it's mostly the elitist. I think that they want to take all the undesirable human cattle off the face of the earth, because you see, they believe Gaia, their Mother Earth, is part of the abode of their god Lucifer. They've announced that Lucifer is their god. This is the god of B'nai B'rith and the Freemasons, as outlined by Albert Pike. Okay, this is what they believe, that they truly believe that it's their religious duty under their god to save the earth from the cancer, which is the useless eating goy. And so, that's very much a part of this New World Order agenda. And so, part of the challenge is to expose this without appearing to be wild-eyed and crazy and with a tinfoil hat type of thing.
Well, they've tried to do that. Back when we started the militias, we were talking about the black helicopters. Mark Carnegie was talking about the black helicopters. And, I helped start the militias in New Mexico. Now, the B'nai B'rith, ADL, propaganda arm, will tell you, Clay Douglas started the militia. They just don't tell you that I did it in the governor's office. It wasn't exactly a terrorist thing, and it certainly wasn't the militia that blew up Oklahoma City. But suddenly, the ADL and Southern Poverty Law both came after me, and Drew, I hadn't even touched on the Jewish connection. I mean, I did business with a lot of Jews over the years, you know, and made money never as much as I was supposed to have, but I made more money dealing with them than I did the Christians. Why would they start coming after me for doing a little newspaper in New Mexico?
Well, just for that very reason, because you see, it's when you're on the truth and when you're really exposing the agenda, that's when these gatekeepers, they really fear that the mainstream media will start to rebel as well. If that happens, you see, here's what you have to realize too. About 5 years ago, when I really started to become aware of what was going on, I had a gentleman in Washington, D.C. who was very, very knowledgeable about not only the affairs of state of America, but worldwide. Here's what this esteemed gentleman told me. You have to realize that since at least 1967 forward, America and the world has basically been blackmailed by this group. They have fantastically effective biological weapons in place. They have nukes in place, okay? That if they're like a big bull in a schoolyard. I've got these weapons of terror and mass destruction ready to be deployed. You let me keep robbing the kids' lunch money and keep bullying everybody in the schoolyard, or I will unleash horror. It's a very real form of blackmail. And my response now to that scenario is, well, if their agenda is to kill us all anyway, why let them get away with it? You're operating. See, the world leaders are operating out of fear. They're not realizing who Jesus Christ is. See, they're not realizing that the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob is much more powerful than Lucifer. They're not realizing their strength is in that faith. Ultimately, that's the battleground here. Okay, so I see it as a return of knowledge, a faith-based knowledge, which dispels this fear of these dark forces. If there is no fear, there's power and there's absolute courage to do the right thing. And that's what America needs, Clay. That, in my opinion, is what's missing there.
You know, I am working with the Timothy Bible College, the Way Church, the Little Red Schoolhouse, to extend education to the concept of Liberty Villages. And I get accused on here, you're just trying to make money off of Liberty Villages. No. I'm trying to unite people. I'm trying to bring people together. I'm trying to point out if you grow your own food, generate your own electricity from everything God gave you, the wind, the sun, and the intelligence to be able to build a solar panel that'll run your computers, we've got a real shot at being independent here. But they're divide and conquer. This is the whole thing. Now, this is what Len Horowitz is trying to do right now to you, to me. Well, he owed Len $900. I owed a lot of people money before I was. They tried to kill me, and I was unconscious for 4 months. So I really don't know. I really don't know. Who I owed or what happened or anything. It's real hard to take care of business when you're being drugged into oblivion. And I believe this accident and the 3 months of being drugged for 3 broken ribs was a little excessive. Am I just being paranoid here, or would they go to that steps? I mean, we've had people shot because they had enough money to back the Free American.
Well, like I said, there's no doubt, Clay, that there's a list of who they want to be monitored, first of all, and second of all, to try to cause discouragement and angst, among them. And I get it every day. I get the most hate-filled trolls on my blog. I get the most incredible hate emails. you know, that just they're meant to discourage, and they're meant to, you know, have you self-question what's going on, and this is all again psychological operations, what the military calls psyops, and so yeah, it's a very real thing. You know, the media is most definitely complicit in this. They want specific things to be politically correct, and other things to be completely taboo. I had a laugh on my newspaper this morning, Clay. It's okay now to use the term Obamacare. Before that, it was politically incorrect. But now it's Obama has given his permission to use it. So suddenly it's now politically okay to call it Obamacare. I mean, this is a classic example of psyops. And again, make no mistake, the psychiatric study goes back again to Sigmund Freud and others who were Edomites and are part of this sabotaged by cult.
Let me ask you here now. I have made the statement, and I want to get your input on this, that to call yourself a Judeo-Christian is about the same thing as calling yourself a satanic Christian.
Yeah, so that's pretty accurate. Again, you have to define Judeo, and since 1980, this 1988 book comes out, I think that at least half of the so-called Judeo synagogues are controlled by Frankites, and probably in the U.S. it's more like 70% Sabbatai Rai descendants or opponents or proponents. So yeah, and there's no doubt that Sabbatai Rai and Jacob Frank were Satanists of the highest order. So yeah, that's a pretty accurate statement.
This is as you've outlined, this has been a battle I think we've been fighting for 4,000 years. It ain't the New World Order; it's the Old World Order, isn't it?
Yeah, and again, if you turn to the Holy Bible, and even the biblical texts outside of the Bible, the so-called apocryphal works, you see Obadiah is very clear. Edom, which is Esau, the prophecies there is very clear. Edom flat out loses. Because of their manipulations, their control of the merchants of the whole earth, they will be burned as stubble. They will not have an inheritance in the next world whatsoever. It's a sad case that they're on the winning. They're not on the winning team. They're on the big time losing team. And so I just submit that we as true Christians, need to explain it to them too. It's never too late to come to the Messiah, the true Messiah. And that Messiah is not Sabbatized lies. It's Yahshua Christus. And you got to just outreach to them as well. You just do. Now they'll probably take your words and smack you upside the head and get angry, but at least you're doing what Christ would have you do.
Well, that's what Dr. Jake Wade, he's the Dean of Timothy Bible College, and I handle the political science end of the college. It's he says we're doing God's work. We're doing we came out, we crossed the Caucasus Mountains, and we went out and we printed the Bible in every language. We distributed it. We set up civilizations. We are the Israelites. We have built every civilization out there, haven't we? And these assholes have been on our ass and fighting us ever since.
Well, there's an interesting. I read an interesting piece that got a lot of debate, and it was intended to do that. You bring an interesting point up there, Clay, because it's the promises of the Bible, the prophecies of the seed of Abraham, and specifically that of Isaac, growing and having dominion. As an industrialist group, right? They work hard. The descendants of Jacob are hard-working folks that build things, where it's the what the descendants of Esau are more like parasites. They go on and they just harvest the work of others. They live off the work of others. And so that's another clue as to what this is. But we're promised that the true Israel would expand and grow and be exceedingly prosperous and numerous. Here's an interesting point. The statistics of historians from Josephus records this. The time of Solomon, their estimates that there was over 15 million Israelites under Solomon, and David, the time of David and Solomon. 15 million roughly. Okay, today, look how many Anglo-Saxons there are. There's still hundreds of millions. But look at the so-called Jews. Look at the so-called Edomites. The world consensus, the census of Jews, so there's just only about 15 million of them, and they're decreasing at 50,000 per year. Are you saying then the members of the synagogue to say they're God's chosen people? How in the world, if they're saying that they are the tribe of Solomon, that like Horowitz says, he's a royal bloodline of David, all those who subscribe to the Star of David, the hexagram, they're less than was on the earth at the time of Solomon. Now they'll say to the answer to that, well, that's because we've been persecuted. That's because we've been hated. That's because we've been stamped out in Holocaust after Holocaust. We've been persecuted and ridiculed and hated, but yet we've still kept our national identity. Well, what you're just saying in that declaration is that God's promises are bogus. That the house of Israel has not become exceedingly prosperous and numerous. Otherwise, you'd be in the hundreds of millions of members. Do you see what I'm saying?
Well, but they've got the hundreds of millions. If you put your very own money, pretty soon you can buy up the whole neighborhood. And our founding father, Thomas Jefferson, warned us that if you allow a private bank to issue your money, your children will wake up homeless in the land that we conquered. And we've got over 1 million Americans that lost their homes to these banksters this year. And by the way, there's been what Alex Jones estimates 250 million. I heard the figure of 150 million people in the world killed, murdered by their governments this century, this last century. So are we, maybe we've been in Armageddon for the last 100 years and they just, the press didn't tell us.
Well, that's true too, but I just posted on my blog, which is just simply www.atrueot.com, a couple of videos that I think are very, very important to watch. This is one that I just received. It's called, it's on debt as money is what it's called. Well done. I mean, absolutely well done. It's on a 3rd or 4th grade level using cartoons to explain the whole problem here. And not only explaining the problem, I mean, right on the point, right on the nail on the head. It doesn't use racial accusations. It just says, here's what's happened, but more importantly, here's how you solved the problem. I'd actually outlined a video I wanted to make on the subject, and man, when this was sent to me, it's exactly right. I mean, I wouldn't change a doggone thing on this. The video is all of 45 minutes to watch, and man, you gotta see this thing. Secondly is a video I just posted yesterday on this gentleman in Illinois that was facing 75 years in prison for simply recording police that came on his property to basically steal some vehicles from him. And so he records their actions, what was said and done, because he's had a civil, a civil case against them, and then they come and arrest him for an Illinois statute of eavesdropping statute. They said it's illegal to record the actions of local constabulary or state constabularies without their permission. And this is a wake-up call to see the police stay out of control in America. There's good policemen, as you know, very honorable oath keepers in America, but there's some very dangerous elements of our police force as well. So, yeah, it's a must. These two must-watch videos go hand in hand.
We've got links to your site up on the thing, and folks, you need to get this video, this recording, this show, and our website out. If you go to Free American, Truott's linked right there. You know, we have to oppose this, and we have to have your help. Their whole plan is destroying us economically. They've gone after. I've had my magazine sold, True, for $500,000, and I still retained half of it. And I walked into the office on Monday, and the deal's been canceled because the guy's been threatened. They're going to crash my stock. Their stock's dropping like a rock, Clay. Who has the power to do that, folks?
Exactly, and you know what's also funny, and if you just Google up my name, you'll see my blog, atruodd.com, but you'll see another little very, very malicious, absolutely slanderous site, truodd.com. That's put up by the good Dr. Horowitz and his concubine Cain. I cover that, but I mean, it's not derogatory. It's just, look up the definition of concubine. It's a person that's an associate of a man who's not married to the man, okay? So, look it up, and when I talk about attack, I mean, I just don't think that way. I know you don't either, Clay. You take somebody that is your opponent. I mean, come on, you don't go take their name and put up a blog. You know how many people come into my store saying, hey, I Googled up your name and I saw this incredible, man, they must really hate you to make this accusations that I murder people, that I'm a plagiarist, that I'm a fake doctor. Doctor?
And I'm a child molester, and I owed Len Horowitz $900. If I owed anybody any money, it was 8 years ago before they tried to kill me.
That's old history, and it's just, again, it's amazing. It truly is amazing that anybody believes them these days. Their credibility is so far out there, but they have people that whatever he says, because they think he's the Messiah type of complex, that they believe what he's putting out, him and Cain. But that some of these accusations against me are so wild-eyed and crazy. Such things as saying that I'm part of the Michael Aquino cult because I supported Ted Gunderson. Is that true that I supported Ted Gunderson? Well, doggone right I did. He's more than anybody else. He was the lightning rod. I mean, he was the exposer of these satanic cults during the 80s. Today in America, when you bring up the term satanic ritual abuse, the mainstream media clicks their tongues, roll their eyes, and they say, well, that's back in the 1980s hysteria. That was all proven by the psychiatric or the psychologists of America, that it was all just a bunch of right-wing extremists, Well, that was, when I asked Ted Gunderson before he died, he did a final little meeting, a 72-hour summit here in Ogden, Utah. And I said, so this is the tail end of your battle, Ted. What do you think about it? Here's a man, I mean, he's a rugged man's man to me. He bowed his head into his hands and sobbed like a child. His heart was broken. And he said, I tried my best. I hope God understands that I tried my best, but I can't fight this power of the synagogues. ultimately explained to us that every place, we thought he was getting some traction exposing this. The powers of the synagogues came down and stopped him. Even in his own agency, the FBI. Look at the Edomites, either the Jesuit / Jewish influence now in the FBI, and you understand exactly why he was so heartbroken. Does this man deserve to be attacked?
Ted Gunderson and I have been friends for almost 20 years, ever since I started the Free American. We met at the Preparedness Expos. I've been to his home. I know the people that were sent against him. I know the people that tried to rip him off. I know, and I know the kind of man he was. And for Len Horowitz and this bitch Sherry Kane to try to demean him, you and me, for standing up to these people it's really a crime. They're the ones that are committing the crimes here. They're the ones that are using the courts to harass people. And they're harassing. Would you read the list of people that Len Horowitz and his bitch Sherry Kane sued? Would you read that?
I don't have. Again, I'm away from my office. I'm sorry, I don't have the lawsuit in front of me.
Well,
but it's a massive list.
Yeah,
it is.
It's we're talking about Len Horowitz is suing Truott, Anthony Hilder, Alex Jones, and numerous others. What are they saying that you and Alex Jones and other patriotic talk show hosts, what are they saying that you've done? Anthony Hilder, I've known Anthony Hilder for 20 years, and he's been on radio, he's made films, he's never been sued for nothing, and I've been in a lot of his films.
Well, again, to me, this whole thing with this lawsuit is just grandstanding. This disinformation woman that came out when we were exposing the bird flu scandal. You have this Jane Burgermeister character that contacts me after I do all of this publicity. I'm the one that first started the radio show exposing the octopus at Fort Detrick and the APAC connection. So suddenly I get a call from this woman in Austria, this Jane Burgermeister, that she's being the eyes and ears, watching the Baxter movement and yada yada. And I welcome anybody that wants to help internationally or otherwise. But suddenly you see Burgermeister's tied to Len Horowitz's camp, and before long she starts driving wedges between the team we had formed to expose this, the group, myself, Dr. Bill Deagle. She becomes very divisive, she starts putting out rumors that we are the problem. It's exactly the same thing, she's saying that we're agents of Big Pharma, myself, Bill Deagle, when in reality she's working with Horowitz, who's doing this. Divide and conquer is absolutely what's going on here. And so what Burgermeister says, she's going to sue Deagle and me and everybody that's in our team for slander against her. Wait a minute, we're on the same team. It's not about individual egos, it's about the message, not dividing and conquering up into, I'm the greatest in this team. See, that's what she wanted to do, and that's what Horowitz is all about. It's me. I'm the only voice of reason in the naturopathic community. Dr. Truott has a company that competes against me. It's my company. Never mind that I formed my company well before he did in 1996. So, I mean, it doesn't, it's simply